The most fundamental technique of playing flamenco guitar is the thumb technique, which is referred to as apoyando, which means something like to rest, because whenever we play, we rest our finger on the string before we strike. Okay, so we don't strike out from the air, so to speak. We rest our finger and then we lean through the string onto the next string. Okay. So perhaps you noticed my hand didn't go through like this, okay? Not like this, okay? Like this. Watch. My wrist stays almost in the same position above the strings, okay? Okay, so not like this. And why we don't want to do it like that is because look where my fingers are now. So if I was playing an Apoyando technique and then needed another technique directly after that, then I'd be having problems now finding the strings again. So what I want to do is always be staying within the vicinity of the strings. Okay? So I often refer to this as kind of like playing a comb. Like if you were to run your thumb across the blades of a comb, you get that brrr, and that's the sound we want here whenever we play with our thumb. So we never do stuff like this. Okay, we're always leaning first on the strings and then leaning through. And you see, I turn at the wrist. I don't follow with my forearm. Okay, I turn at my wrist. Alright, so I've prepared some exercises here that combine the thumb technique also with some simple left hand, so you can practice these techniques a little bit together right from the beginning. Okay, so I've prepared some exercises here for you that combine your thumb technique with your left hand technique, okay? These will help build these techniques up, and don't just do them once, do them a few times until you're comfortable with them and you notice that they feel good and natural, okay? So this is exercise 1 of the Apoyando exercises. First I'm just going to go through the open strings. Now I'm just going to fret with my first finger, okay? So I'm going to let the finger play all the strings. So did you notice how my hand sort of followed and I didn't turn my finger? I didn't do this. Why? Because once again my fingers are way out of the vicinity of the strings and I can't do much guitar playing with them here. I need them to be here so I can play. Okay? And that's what we're training here. At the same time, we're practicing our Apoyando technique. Okay, so you'll notice here that when I go up the strings, I lean on them. Now I lean on them going back, which is not that easy. Okay, so really concentrate on that. So you might want to do just the first 3 bars of exercise 1 with the empty string till you really get this. Okay? Also when you're going back. Okay, obviously on the first string here, there's no other string to lean on. So just try not to do something like this. Okay? So there'll be none of that. Try to exercise 1. Alright, and here's the second exercise for Apoyando. And now I'm going to be playing a chromatic scale up the strings. Okay, well it's sort of chromatic because I'm going to be leaving out the open strings just so we can really get those fingers working together. Okay. A thing you should be also thinking about when you're doing stuff like this next exercise is that you wonder why sometimes they don't sound very good, or it's unclean, and you think it's because you're not pressing hard enough on the guitar. Okay, this is a mistake. It's often a lot easier to press down the frets than you think, and if you want to know how much pressure you really need, then start first. Take, for example, your first finger on the first fret, and just start by just touching the string without any pressure. You get that ghost note. Okay, now just start pressing little by little until the note comes out. Okay, and there you'll find it's a lot less than you think. So try to find the pressure you actually need. And then you'll find it's easier to get the finger back up again when you finish playing it. When you're really gripping, then you have to really let go to get the finger back off the guitar. That's why you want to play with as little pressure as possible. Another thing you should observe is how synchronized the fingers are. Sometimes you're striking here a little bit before this one is sitting. Okay, so you want to get the strike and the at the same time. Okay, not something like this. Okay. Good. Okay, so let's try this Apoyando exercise 2. Notice my fingers make a straight line. Okay, did you see how I let my fingers, I left them sitting until I was finished with the fourth? This is a good practice because it keeps your fingers in a straight line. So now I know exactly how the angle I need for my little finger, which is going to be the hardest one in this situation, okay? So it's very important that you first of all, get the angle that allows you to play with the very tip of your little finger. People tend to want to play with the flat, although they play with the tips of their fingers here, then they start doing with the flat here with their small finger. Okay? With their little finger. Try to find the angle that brings your hand out where you're still relaxed. Some people's hands actually bend here in the middle. They seem to have another joint than I do, and here as well. So they get sort of this, I can't do it. But this also works really well because it gives them their fingers in front of the guitar as well. Okay, my hand doesn't do that though. That's also the same with the thumb, is that some people's, my thumb doesn't go back very far. I don't have a lot of room there with my thumb. It doesn't do very much. Some people's thumbs go right back here. Okay, so you're going to want to always play with tension and not bend your thumb while you're playing. Okay, that's bad. Always play with a straight thumb. Okay, and always use as much playroom as you have. So if your finger goes all the way back to here, when you play Apoyando, it should be doing that. Okay, so you should be really, your finger should be leaning, pardon me, your thumb should be leaning on the string in its default position.